The rugged and brutal wildlands of Oerth were a backdrop to a young Drogskol's upbringing, and he was no stranger to the horrors that lurked in their shadows. Raised by Silum, an ancient worm, Drogskol was taught the ways of the ancients, eventually being sent into the world with one objective: make sure buried things stay buried. Heading north from the cave, he heard word of an organization that sought to unearth powerful magical artifacts, and so he decided to infiltrate them to stop their efforts. He met with Dimini, a half-elven sorceress with scales like those of a blue dragon, and Kellic, a wizard who worked with the organization. In the free city of Greyhawk, they met, becoming a group. Not long after, they began moving towards the town of Diamond Lake in search of an artifact rumored to be hidden nearby, perhaps in a crypt. And it was there that they met Venus, a halfling thief with a knack for gambling. He joined their group, and they made their way to the crypt, none of them knowing what horrors awaited them. Before even entering the crypt, they were attacked by direwolves who proceeded to tear out a Drogskol's throat. He was then rushed back to town and resurrected by a priest, under favor by Dimini. They spent the night together, her watching over him while he slept and recovered from the shock of the revival. They banded together and grew closer, and it was not long before they grew tired of Kellic and the organization, leaving them to do as they would while heading out to adventure on their own. After a few months by themselves, they eventually were accosted by Dimini's family and her uncle, Bryn Dragar. Given the new threat, they dived back to the fray of adventure. It took months to gain any kind of footing, to launch a counterattack against the family, with friends and enemies being gained and lost in rapid succession. In a battle with Dimini's brother, Venus was killed after Drogskol struck down the brother, his spear piercing his heart. They mourned him then, and continue to mourn him now. During this time period, there was another revelation that rocked Drogskol's world to its core, changing who he would be for the rest of his life. Silum, his surrogate father and deity, was actually Vecna, the god of mysteries and magic, who shattered his faith and left him a broken and angry man, causing him to cast aside his oath and swear to kill the Lich. But there was no trace of him. He had escaped, somehow, leaving Drogskol to wallow in his anger. As he began to settle down, he grew content with his new life and the family he had made with his recently married wife, Dimini. One day, on the castle grounds, as he browsed the library, he came across a book, oddly bound, and as he began reading it, he woke up in his hut in the wildlands. He had some odd dream of a black dragonborn, powerful and angry, and his wife, and their kingdom, and friends, and family. But that couldn't be. He was just the right-hand man of the chief of the Sunclaw, a powerful dragonborn tribe in the wildlands. And so he set out, under charge by his god, to find these odd artifacts that were important to him. Well, whatever the old man said, it must have been right. Of course, there was no way, surely no way, that they could have been related to his dreams he'd been having recently. Surely not.